Let's try Matthew from the UK. Matthew, I flew over the UK recently, a couple days ago.
Good afternoon, David. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
So I was watching. I think this Afghanistan's the reason why I came on today is because Afghanistan is obviously relevant for both Anglo-American international issues,
Yes.
and I was watching the House of Commons today, which is our elected chamber,
Hmm.
and they were discussing about the failure of Afghanistan. It was a full house for the first time for quite a while, and it got me thinking. They we've committed to allowing in the government only at the moment 5,000 refugees a year, but I'm just interested to see what you think more can be done, because obviously Afghanistan's got a population of about 38 million, and simply allowing in 20,000 refugees is not going to provide protection for millions of people. And I believe Britain and America, through this long 20 years, still owe a very strong duty of care to the people of Afghanistan.
Yes. I completely agree with you about that debt. Did you have a specific question?
Yeah, I was just saying, what do you think we can do from now on, apart from taking in refugees? Do you think that there's anything we can do to ensure stability and perhaps
I mean, here's the thing.
protection?
Everything we seem to try fails miserably. So it's
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
are
Yeah.
we almost better off? I'm saying we as the United States, should the US just stay the hell out of it? Should our help be restricted to being through humanitarian organizations only? No more military, no more contractors. I don't know. I mean, we want to do something for the people, but we just seem to step in it and do more harm than good.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel that the last 20 years has taught that militaristic nation building is often a very problematic and very difficult, with odds often stacked against you.
Yeah.
I just hope that this time, with this refugee crisis, which will probably occur, I hope that the West, can take a more less cynical approach to it, because obviously with Syria in the last few years, we've seen a major rise in Islamophobia
Yeah.
across and I just think that this can be a time for us to at least try and hopefully do something right. Sorry if I'm not sounding like I'm making much sense. I'm just a bit nervous.
No, you're doing great. Yeah. I mean, listen, I agree with you. My desire is the same as yours. I just don't know. U.S. involvement just scares me because it's been so disastrous for 20 years.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think the same with Britain. I think this is a issue which, as if I'm to represent Britain, we should hold our hands up and say. But I think that the least we can do is let refugees in. And it's just a bit upsetting in the Commons today, seeing our government almost debate this issue as if we don't owe a duty of care to, especially to people who have helped the British government and the
Right.
Americans government. So I think that's another contentious issue. There's almost like sometimes a lack of responsibility for even their own people.
Yeah. And part of the people saying we have to stay are people rightly saying, well, we broke it. We have to stay until it's fixed. But the problem is the longer we stay, the longer we guarantee it's not fixed. But that doesn't absolve us of our responsibility to the people. And I think that's the best kind of final point on it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I've just got one more question. Sorry. I've been reading about the BBC did a little like kind of review of Biden's speech on Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering whether you think that some of the things he said in it are going to affect his, not necessarily his popularity, but his reputation internationally. Like he said that the Afghan military collapsed sometime without trying to fight. And I think that many people abroad, especially in Afghanistan, are going to find that very insensitive, especially with how many, obviously the media in Britain and America often downplays the amount of lives which were lost through Afghani troops when
Yeah,
fighting
I
the
think
fights.
it will certainly look very bad in Afghanistan. I think it will not have a major impact in the global West.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, it's just interesting because of if from an outsider perspective, this Biden's administration I was really like, I thought it was going quite well, like smooth and stuff like that. And it's just amazing how even in where it's amazing that the
Absolutely.
importance of
You're
not becoming
absolutely, it's been a
complacent.
drastic change, and we'll see how it
Yeah.
plays out in 2022. I appreciate the call, my friend. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry for rushing you, David. Thank you for having me.
All right, there we go. And we are going to go to a break. I'm sorry I wasn't able to speak to everybody, but we will speak to more people very soon.